Okay, here we go with the unboxing. Warning, do not use sharp knife. Okay, the box is pretty heavy duty cardboard. There's a foam cap in it. There's a foam front and back and sides in it. We're going to carefully take those out. So hopefully it would have floated down the street if it got here from Milton and it was flooded. But they held up on the delivery, which I thank FedEx for. And we have the cabinet covered in plastic. Now this cabinet itself is made out of 5/8 plywood. It's got the metal grill front on it. And it looks pretty well constructed. And we'll tilt that way. It's got dual jacks on the back of it for output, so I'm sure it can be wired in and out. And we're going to put a set of casters on it eventually, so it can roll around and not have to be pushed everywhere. And they separated the speaker wires to both sides with a red and a black, which is really cool. All right, so I'm going to stop this for now. We're going to get these speakers out and ready to go, and we're going to see if we can find any literature that came with the Seismic, and we'll go from there. Okay, so now I've got the two Mesa Boogie Black Shadows out of the old cabinet that was kind of thrown together. And I've wired them in, and it's kind of cool because Mesa puts a little red dot on the hot lead, so you're never going to get these, out of polarity, so they hiss, if you have the speaker wires disconnected. The front grill itself came off with 10 screws, really simple. It took me longer to get the screws and bolts out of the old cabinet than it did to get to this point. Okay, we're going to get these dropped in, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so this is an 18-watt Fender Bassman that a tweed Bassman that my buddy Stosh, who's like an electrical genius and IBEW member and all that stuff, built for me several years ago out of an old deluxe cabinet that I had that was for the solid state deluxe. So that's what we're running into with Mexican Strat, standard kind of Strat, and out to the Seismic enclosure with the two Black Shadow Mesa Boogie speakers in it. And I am not a great guitar player, so you're going to have to suffer through this, but I think it sounds pretty good. Not me, the cabinet. So just a little sound thing, nothing, like I said, I'm not a shredder, I'm not a great guitar player, I work on them. But for the bang for the buck, the ease of the performance, being able to get this thing set up as quickly as I did, Seismic, I'd give it a 2 thumbs up. I would buy another Seismic cabinet in a minute. Now, I haven't purchased any of the other ones. I think there's a company, Twin Palms, out there, and a few others that produce these cabinets. Now, the only modification I'm going to do to it, because it is a closed back cabinet, and as you can see, the other one we had open back, open face, and the speaker sounded okay, but it was a temporary fix, and now that temporary fix is over. These Mesa Boogie speakers have a pretty righteous home in these Seismic cabinets. And the 5/8 plywood sounds good, and people will say, well, you could build a 5/8 plywood cabinet. You can. For $72 a sheet for Baltic birch plywood, or up from that, and then you start getting into all the pieces, parts, you're going to come out probably costing you a little more to build it at home, and I've got all the tools to build it, than you would to just buy it and have it a day later from Seismic out of Nashville, Tennessee, or Memphis, Tennessee. I can't remember where they're out of. But I'm impressed. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. They do make some single tweed enclosures. I may go look at some of those later on, because one of the things that I like the customers that come in to do is if they're looking to change pickups, I'd rather see them check out a different speaker option, because sometimes they're playing speakers that just aren't helping them with the tone and the sound they're trying to get. If they find that right speaker, that may be all they need. So we've got all this stuff in the test area at Talon Guitar Works that they could check out what they're listening to. I do have a tone tubby in here. I've got some Fender 412s in here. I've got the Carvin Legacy 412 cabinet, Steve Vai cabinet in here. I've got a PV 212 in here, and I think I have a PV 412 in here looking around. But we're going to expand. We're going to get some warehouse speakers in here. We will get some Eminence in here, and I'll have them in cabinets so guys can run through that. Because I do see a lot of guys that are on a constant change of pickup pattern, and I think they'd be better off getting the right speaker in that cabinet that they have now. So this is Tom at Talon Guitar Works. Not all my ideas are any good, only about half. You have to decide which half. Later.